next speaker. Anticlimax. Ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker is Liz Thompson.
Crime son, dirty Andrew.
Grab soldier again.
Right now things dread, we voting for the red. Right now things dread, we voting for the red. Right now things dread, we voting for the red.
Bears open your eyes and hold out your head.
Right now things dread, we voting for the red. Right now things dread, we voting for the red. Right now things dread, we voting for the red. Times getting hard, hurt in my head.
We need a change.
Barbados don't take it no more.
We need a change.
Senegal get news for the poor.
We need a change.
The youths gonna settle the score. We ain't standing for them no more.
We voting bees. B is the better way of life. If we vote for the bees, that is the best choice. The youths want work, the youths want a job, the youths want money, the youths want rock.
Right now, things dread. What you doing? Right now, things dread. Some people would have liked some for today. Good evening to you, Silver Sands. How are you? Glad to hear. Now, I want to do a few things tonight, starting with saying that really, if in fact a member of parliament, a constituency representative, a servant of the people has to send out a letter apologizing for not serving you, then he is telling you, get rid of me because I am not doing my job. And if he is so sick that he cannot perform, good God, let him go home and rest now. Don't keep him lingering with a lot of stressful requests for jobs and assistance. Let him go home and rest. And all the sick he played was, he was not too sick that women can have him before the courts are here for jail money. Good Lord. Highly irresponsible. It really is ridiculous. I am not wasting any time on him except to say this. If he has given you one of the temporary jobs, take it. But do not be fooled that if in the last 5 years you only get a temporary job in the last few weeks, that is anything permanent. There is nothing more for you after elections. You got to leave the job. I hear you got so many people working all of a sudden. 5 years pass, he can't find a work for nobody. All of a sudden, they got people holding the hole in the middle, upside down, wrong way, wrong. Cell phone and one hand prop up on the hole under the elbow and the posing. The flat side of the hole, the work inside the hole, under the elbow and the posing. All kinds of make work that he could get back his work. Get rid of Lowe. If he says he's so sick that he can't represent you and he's sending out letters and he plays standing up crying, get rid of Lowe. But I don't want to focus on Lowe tonight. I don't want to focus on Lowe. Y'all know that I live in New York, and I came in and I saw this advertisement in the newspaper with Frondell Stewart looking very statesman-like. And I saw a person next to him I did not recognize, and I looked closely, and I realized this person is supposed to be Owen Arthur. I know how they touch up these photographs. And then I saw this thing about Frondell being reliable, stable, decent, steady, respectable, and you see Owen being portrayed as being arrogant and sharp-tongued. And we are being told that this election is not about the economy. But why are we being told that? We are being told that because the Democratic Labour Party has gotten a failing grade on the economy. So they can't come to you and discuss the state of the economy. Equally, they have betrayed you on the issue of the cost of living. So they can't come to you and discuss that. So as an alternative now, they cannot tell you where it is that tourism arrivals all over the Caribbean are up except in Montserrat, that half of it get mashed up by a volcano. The only country in the Caribbean whose tourism arrivals are lower than ours is Montserrat. Everybody else is growing. They cannot tell you why it is that after promising to reduce the cost of living, that Barbados is in the top 3 with the highest cost of living in the Caribbean region. They cannot tell you why it is that the countries across the Caribbean and across the globe are experiencing growth in the magnitude of 3%, 5%, etc., when we in Barbados will grow less than 1 percentage point. They cannot discuss these issues. And it is an old political strategy. It is a particular characteristic of people who engage in the spread of propaganda to change what the real issue is and focus your attention. Marky is a good man, a glass of water and ice. He knows what the girls need. Thank you. And focus your attention on another issue. So the issue you are now being asked to focus on is how nice a man Frondel is. Cause dear Frondel's so nice, he quiet. Don't talk much. Don't offend nobody. Never do nobody nothing. Why you don't give him a chance? You can't give him a chance because the government and the country are not a lucky dip. This is not a lucky dip. One of the basic, look, for those of you who have studied areas like management and you read management specialists like Drucker and you go into the Harvard Business Review, they tell you that the emotional style of the leader influences the organization and the emotional style of the leader impacts on the country. A leader has to talk. By necessity, you have to guide your flock. You have to say to them, I have an agenda and a vision. My vision is to take this country to greatness. Owen Arthur told us, go for the gold. Owen Arthur told us, I intend to create 30,000 jobs. He created 35. Owen Arthur told us, I'm going to reduce unemployment. He brought it from 25% to 6.7. He says, I'm going to give you strong foreign reserves. And we left office with the strongest foreign reserves ever that this country has ever had. What does Frondel intend to do for Barbados? What is his vision? Who is Frondel Stewart? A man has been a prime minister for 4 years. What can you say about him? What sense of him do you have other than what is now being portrayed in the last 4 or 5 weeks when he emerged from his sleep to present himself as prime minister and leader? Come on, man. Even in the Bible, it tells you, I am the good shepherd. The sheep know my voice and they follow me. A leader has to talk. A man who sits down silent, the economy gets downgraded to junk. Prime Minister, what you got to say? 11 men want to get rid of you, Prime Minister. The eager 11. You have 21 people on your team. 11 say you have to go. That's more than 50%. Prime Minister, what is your response to that, please? And then, when he starts to talk, send them back to the cane fields. And the Dems are saying in the ad that Owen is sharp-tongued and arrogant. Can you understand how in that the driver of MZ513, you're blocking the road and interrupting my speech. Stop doing the two of them. I want to talk and you got to move your car. Thank you, Marky. And Marky, now listen to me. When you are doing certain business and you are at a crucial point, you don't interrupt it. I was making a point, you rush up and point lost. Listen to me. what was I saying, Marky? Huh? What was I saying? Go back to the cane fields. The working class of the agricultural sector built Barbados. Those agricultural workers sent us to school. They wanted to see a different Barbados. They wanted their children to have the things that they did not have. They wanted that their children did not have to use pit toilets at night, could eat meat every day, would have cars and not have to stand up at the bus stop in the sun. So when a prime minister tells you that you can't resolve an issue, and if you don't resolve it, go back to the cane fields, there is no more arrogant, more disgusting slur than a prime minister to say something like that. When 35,000 people in Clico have a challenge and inquiries are made on their behalf, and his response is, we can punish those inquiries with laughter. When he says, Barbados is like a sow pig. Now, Romney in the United States said that 47% of the people in the U.S. want things. Do you remember that in the debate? Romney got licked up for it. Down here, Frundell said he made the statement in Canada. Barbados is like a sow pig. Everybody on the nipples. And the nipples sore. And he got to drag them off. Now, who was he talking about? Was he talking about the diabetics in this constituency who have to choose between paying for medicine and paying other critical bills? Was he talking to people who have to determine how to meet the 60% increase in water rates? And don't mind that you get free bus fares and camps, because what they give with one hand, they have taken back more than that with the other. So you ain't really no better off. You are no better off, you are worse off. When he tells us go to the drug dealers, does he not realize that it's his responsibility as Prime Minister to define the development agenda for Barbados? To whom was Frundell speaking when he said that you want dragging off the nipples? Was he talking to the person who aspires to go to university but is afraid because the government owes UWI $150 million and that is going to impact access to university education by Barbadians? Was he talking to them? Was he talking to the old age pensioner who has diabetes and high blood pressure and is now having to pay for their medicine? Was he talking to the people who need dialysis, who have problems at the hospital? To whom was Frundell speaking when he said, drag all of you so off the nipples because you got his nipples sore? Tell him tonight that we are taking the Democratic Labour Party off of our nipples sore. 5 years of them sucking and we can't take no more. Was he talking, this is a fishing community, was he talking to the fishermen in Oystons and across this country who get catch in Trinidad? And when the Prime Minister's office is asked to raise its voice in support of these fishermen, as Owen Arthur and the Barbados Labour Party used to do, he sat down. Not a word. No fishermen here tonight could rely on him. Are those the people who he wants pulled off for this pig nipples? And he uses some terrible analogies, you know. Some awful, ignorant, cruel language. And they say, nice? Nice what? Well, if you had a man insulting you so when the night comes, think about it. Sweetheart, I got a bill to pay. Give me a little cash now. Look, woman. You sucking my nipples, I can drag you off. Well, you don't gonna look for a drug dealer. If you had a man that used to treat you so, you would get rid of the man. If you had a woman, you said, the woman, sweet girl, cook some food for me. And she said to you, cook food for you, you better go in and look in the cane fields here. You will fire the woman out the house. We are now at the stage where, because Barbados has been reduced from what it used to be, Barbados is no longer the shining star and shining example that we are accustomed to it being. We used to be where we were the envy, where we set the standard. No, we are being compared with the people at the bottom of the list. We have moved from the top to the bottom. This is what Frondell Stewart and the Democratic Labour Party has reduced us to. And now they do not want to discuss the economic issues. They do not want to discuss the social issues in response to people's concerns. Their answer is Frondell nice. He don't offend nobody. And I'm saying to you, Frondell Stewart has offended everybody. It is his government that moved the taxes on energy from 25 cents excise tax to 53 cents. It is his government that moved that from 15% to 17.5%. It is his government that increased water rates by 60%. It is his government and their energy policy that has electricity rates so high. It is his government that has not offered, that has made people pay for health services and drugs for the first time in nearly 50 years in this country. It is his government that has taken away all the allowances, that has allowed people some cushion when the pressure started to hit them in the back against the ropes. It was the allowances that used to save them. It is his government that has taken them away. And it was Frondell Stewart who was sitting next to Chris Sinclair when Chris Sinclair, out of his mouth in the last budget, said that he had already secured money from the IDB to privatize SSA, Transport Board, and NAC. And now his government is on the radio day after day telling lies that we will increase bus fares and make pensioners pay. It is his government. And if the safe Frondell Stewart never do you nothing, think about all the pressure on your backside when the days come. Think about all the stress that you under. Think about everything that you have lost and been reduced from to in the last 5 years. Frondell do that to you. So don't accept that Frondell nice. And let me tell you, if you want a piece of fish here tonight, a bag of popcorn or a bag of nuts, Frondell niceness cannot buy it for you. If you want a motor car, you cannot carry his integrity in a courtesy garage. If you go in the supermarket, they don't accept his reliability in place of cash. So his niceness, his silence, his reliability, his respectability, his integrity, none of that can go in the supermarket. None of that affects your quality of life. And the statements that Frondell has been making when he does open his mouth is the greatest indication of the kind of person he really is. And what you're seeing and hearing is nice. So this notion that Kadir would give you a chance, no? He don't do nobody nothing. They had their chance. They had their chance. And therefore, I want to turn, because the next Prime Minister of Barbados is coming after me. And while we are distressed about living in a country where the fastest growing profession is debt collection, I mean, you got to be worried when it comes to that. When the fastest growing profession is debt collection, and people who coming out of university cannot get jobs. I have made the point, I made it in Oystons last night, that I know people with first degrees and master's degrees who are pumping gas, working in restaurants, working as porters, unemployed, doing all kinds of jobs that they would not ordinarily have to do, because in this economy, while the economy in the United States is growing, while jobs in the United States are growing, this economy continues to contract under the Democratic Labour Party. And the problem is that the ministers who are in charge of various ministries do not have the skills and the ability to get the productive sectors of the economy growing again. So the issue is not debt, because we left accrued a $5 million debt over 15 years. They have accrued $2.75 billion in debt in 5 years. And you know from your own experience that you have to have debt to get on. The problem with the debt is when the productive sectors are not working, when you are not earning. And that is where the country has come now. The pig in producing the milk. And it is their fault because they are giving it the wrong food. And therefore, I want, having laid this foundation for why you should not support the Democratic Labour Party, having laid the foundation by indicating the kinds of things that Owen Arthur has done in the past and the things that you can expect from him. And listen to me. There is no doubt that there have been times that if you're in office, Owen has not always said things that you have been happy about. To me, that is not important, because what is the more important thing is the kind of prime minister that he is relative to the status of the country and the standing of the country in the international community, and relative to whether you have money in your pocket or not. And that is what the critical issue is. So do not allow yourselves to be diverted by the them saying, Owen is not nice, and he's taught harshly and things like that. That cannot be an issue. Whether he talks harshly or not cannot be a concern of yours, because the things that Frundell has said are extremely insulting, harsh, and unkind. What you measure the people by is the kind of society and economy that each of them is building. What kind of Barbados are they creating for you and I and your children and our grandchildren and our cousins and siblings? And I see my sister. Hello, Pat. What kind of Barbados are they creating for us to live in? That is the critical issue. And you have seen the Barbados that Owen Arthur created. When I hear them say, y'all will sell off the West Coast, I tell them, tell me one property on the West Coast that the Barbados Labour Party sold. You know, nobody can tell you. It wasn't done by us. This notion that you're going to suffer. We had an opportunity to raise bus fares and never did. We had an opportunity to raise electricity prices and never did. Water rates and never did. Take away the allowances and never did. All the things that the Dems have done to create a revenue stream that is larger, according to the Barbados Economic Society. I'm trying to see if I can put my hand on the figure, and I can't. And I don't have it in the top of my head. But the Barbados Economic Society says that they have, yes, $2.442 billion the Democratic Labour Party has had at its disposal through taxation. And the Dems are prancing up on the green economy. Law talks about it like if it was his original idea. The green economy policy on which the Dems are prancing up was written at my kitchen table a Sunday morning. And the paragraphs that went into the 2007 budget, I wrote sitting in my office in the Ministry of Environment and put it into the budget at Owen Arthur's request. He know nothing about it. It is not something he could conceive. He was too sick. Leaves his his office every day and goes drinking rum with Starston Levine for 3 and 4 hours when the day come. The renewable energy policy about which they are speaking was conceived and developed by me, that we would have 30% renewables as part of our energy mix. And the national energy policy promoting renewable energy was laid in Parliament in September of 2007 by this Barbados Labour Party. And Eswe is talking about OTEC. It sounds good. So he would impress people that OTEC is some new renewable energy technology that the Dems are going to bring to Barbados. I want to say to the media tonight, it is foolishness. And I will tell you why. If there are 3 people in Barbados qualified in energy, I am one of the 3. So I am an energy expert. Not because I call myself so, but because I have the academic qualifications to back my saying so. Not that I'm showing off, but I have the qualifications to back it. I'm saying to you that consultants are now reviewing what could be the alternative energy sources for Barbados, and they have specifically excluded OTEC as an option for Barbados. Now, Eswick is saying it is coming all on the platform last night. That's what he was saying. And I'm telling you that it has been specifically excluded because OTEC is a technology that is not working anywhere in the world yet. It is unproven technology, and therefore, it could not be brought to Barbados. Furthermore, the Light and Power has said in clear language that they would not even consider OTEC as an alternative energy source for them. You understand what I'm telling you? So when they're prancing up on renewable energy and making up things as they go along at this 11th hour to try to impress people, I am telling you, they know what they're talking about. The Harson Cave redevelopment and the nice elevator that goes up that you can see through, developed in my office, another one of my projects. If we had only won the government, Owen Arthur and I would have opened that, not loan and Esther Sukubaya and them kind of people so that just mash up the Queen English when you put a paper in front of them. The boardwalk on the west and south coast, my projects. And Lowe has done nothing as Minister of Environment that he can point to and say he conceived it and brought it to fruition. Had the opportunity to wear a suit and cut a ribbon on all of my projects and now pretending that they are his. Lowe has to go. Has to go. You go down to Bats Rock. Every table, every bench rotten. The facility there, all the windows rotten and drop out and clap up with board. Benches on the ground. Things rotted and worm-eaten. Anything that left alone in serious problems. And I want to turn, therefore, to the Barbados Labour Party manifesto. And I specifically want to say to you that this administration is proposing in this manifesto, in which Owen Arthur and those he leads as his team are bringing a new development agenda to Barbados. This manifesto is a call to greatness, to move from mediocrity and put Barbados back on top. This manifesto is designed to rebuild our communities, restore the standard for citizens, and save our country. Help corporate entities. This manifesto commits. And remember, we have been able to produce a promises and performance document to show you what we promised and what we performed. This manifesto promises to take the VAT off of electricity. This manifesto is going to give you a basket of goods VAT-free. Critical supplies, and food. This manifesto commits to community tourism. This manifesto commits to reducing the price of energy, to reducing water rates, to reducing the cost of living. It commits to a health sector which has a facility to support people who had strokes. It commits to Senior Citizens Protection Act to stop people from robbing senior citizens, from unfairing the lame, the halt, the blind, the elderly, the mentally and physically challenged. This manifesto commits to a new energy deal. Do you know that if you put $100 on gas in your car, 33 goes to Frondell and them? This manifesto commits to changing that. The manifesto has a section for young people where we are putting a $20 million fund to support young people who want to become entrepreneurs. The manifesto commits at page 55 to deal with some issues in the health sector that are of critical importance, like the drug service, stopping you from paying for drugs, ensuring that free medication is given to pensioners at all pharmacies, removing the import duty and VAT from a basket of goods to include diabetic supplies, low sugar and low fat snacks, sugar substitutes, cereals, beans, peas, multivitamins, vegetarian burgers, tofu. The manifesto commits to giving you lower electricity prices at page 37 to 39, and you have to read it for yourself. At page 37 to 39, it deals with the energy issues. At pages 44 to 48, and I'm really going very quickly because the next Prime Minister of Barbados is coming soon, to fixing the issue of CLICO, not punishing you with laughter, addressing the issue of CLICO, providing retirement villages, nursing homes for the elderly. It is an excellent manifesto that lays out facilities and a new agenda for the social sector, for the economic sector, and for our environmental agencies and agenda. If you do not know Frondell's voice, if you do not know what he is offering, if when he should have spoken, he has been silent, and when he should have been silent, he has been insulting people, the time has come for us to bring the Barbados Labour Party back to office. It is not about giving them a chance. It is about giving yourselves a chance. It is about giving communities a chance, citizens a chance, this country a chance, and your best chance is with the Barbados Labour Party, Owen Arthur and his team. Leadership on which you can depend, which puts cash in your pockets. Good night, Silver Sands.
Crime Son, Dirty Andrew.
Rob Soldier again.
Right now things dread, we voting for the right. Right now things dread, we voting for the right. Right now things dread, we voting for the right.
Bezo